Command has been given.
Command has been given. Okay.
Some PA problems, I think.
Yeah, I think we do too. As Kevin told you in the pre-race, Johnny Boychuk of the Boston Bruins gave the command to start the engines, and all 26 cars now firing up along pit lane. So we get set for 80 laps of racing. Now, this race was originally scheduled for 90 laps, but because of the fact that the circuit is a little slower than they thought, it'll only be an 80-lap race to fit into a 2-hour time slot. Let's get more on the track itself from Jan.
And Bob, you heard Justin Wilson mention the big difference in tracks from last year. This is 2010, high-speed flowing corners, but look at the change for this year. Sure, it's the same airport, but you have very long straightaways and extremely tight corners, almost like a street course. Now, see, these are some of the areas. Turn 1, certainly a passing zone. That's going to be the danger zone off the start. Wally has already talked about the heavy braking zones in turn number 5. Here's a section. This is actually the old section of the racetrack. It's very bumpy through 11. Then you get up to 155 miles an hour before a 36-mile-an-hour hairpin that leads on to 170-mile-per-hour straightaway.
Very challenging circuit, and we look forward to all the action that we'll see here this afternoon. Cars now beginning to roll off the pit area. And the 77 car of Alex Tagliani, a little bit trouble getting started, it would appear. Now he's ready to roll, and away goes Alex. All right, so now all cars are rolling. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's race. On the pole, his second pole of the season and second of his career. He won the pole at Iowa on the oval. Now Takuma Sato starts on the pole. Outside is Will Powers. Second row, Scott Dixon and Dario Franchitti, the Target Chip Ganassi teammates. In row number 3, E.J. Biso and Ryan Briscoe.
Not Biso. I mean, KV Racing's got 3 fast race cars here this weekend. But, you know, E.J., his best finish was 7th at Texas. A lot of tore-up equipment this year, but these cars have looked really fast. So is E.J. It could be a really good day for him.
Ryan Hunter-Ray and Oriol Serbia will start side-by-side in row number 4. Row number 5, Helio Castroneves and Canadian James Hinchcliffe. And in the 6th row, Tony Kanaan and Sebastian Bourdais. While
we're talking about KV Racing, remember that Tony Kanaan has already passed 44 cars this year. He likes to come from the back, and he has Sato set up.
7th row, Graham Rahal and Vitor Mira. In row number 8, Justin Wilson and Simona De Silvestro. And as you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, this race has been won from the pole just once. That was 2 years ago when Will Power drove to victory. The lowest that a winner has ever started was 10th. That was back in 2005 when Sebastian Bourdais took the checkered flag first. Fewest number of cautions, 1. The record for most cautions, 4. That happened in 3 separate years, 2006, 2007, and 2010. We saw there that Paul Tracy, one of the other Canadian, has a long way to go. He'll be starting from the last row in 25th position. Now here's our Sunoco pit strategy with Jan again.
And Bob, when you look at these pit range, especially that green range of 29 laps, that is super fuel save. So if you could really save fuel, here are the windows that you get. And Lindy, for the leader, someone like Sato, they have to watch this carefully.
And twice now, Sato has won pole position. Jimmy Vasser, how strategy-wise do you get him to victory lane?
Well, you know, if we can run clean and stay out front, it's pretty straightforward strategy. It's pretty close to a 2-stop race. A lot of it has to do with what the yellows call, and really just trying to manage the fuel consumption and also the brakes. The brakes could be a problem here. But you know, obviously we're at a great starting standpoint with pole position. So we're just going to try to control the race from the start.
Jimmy Vasser running the pole leader.
And, you know, Jimmy mentioned the brakes. Watching the morning warm-up this morning, Sato had some troubles. He you know, went off twice. It looked like he had braking problems. I don't know if they fixed that before the race, but certainly it's something to keep an eye on here in the first few laps.
6 onboard cameras for you in this race. J.R. Hildebrand carries the National Guard onboard camera. Alex Tagliani will have the Firestone on board. He'll be starting in 17th position. Next is Sebastian Bourdais, who has the 12th starting position. closer to the front of the field, Ryan Briscoe starts number 6. He has the IZOD onboard camera. Scott Dixon will carry 1 as he begins from the inside of row number 2. And also carrying a Verizon onboard camera, the driver of the Verizon car, Will Power, starting from outside row number 1, alongside the pole sitter of today's race, Takuma Sato.
Turn 1 is awfully wide. Get down in there.
It's wide. It's wide coming in.
Yeah, very narrow.
Very narrow coming out.
Remember, fuel mixture 1.
Okay, this is the long backstretch, so to speak. It runs parallel to the front straightaway, which is just to the driver's left here. You see the pace car driven by Johnny Rutherford has pulled off. The cars begin their 2 abreast formation, but remember they have to go through this very tight hairpin turn before they come on to the straightaway. Same piece of turf that shares the front and the backstretch. All right, here we go. Cars lined up nicely through here. The leaders come off of corner number 13 and look good here. Takuma Sato to your right. And the green flag is out. Here we go with the Edmonton Indy from City Center Airport, and a great start. Look how close the field is bunched as they head to 1. Dixon gets second from Power. Is everybody going to make it?
Very nice.
Hey, they did. Turn 2 here and 3. Now here's turn number 5, another braking zone.
Lockup. Wow, yeah, Katranevis locked them up.
Oh, we see some parts flying.
Tagliani at the back of Ray Hall that appeared. And Graham Rahal has a left tire going down. You just saw him going off to the edge of the grass. That contact with Tagliani's wing has cut down Rahal's tire.
Graham Rahal suffering.
I'm sorry, I was just going to Tagliani's got some wing damage.
Yep.
The right front.
Oh, and 2 cars are spun out here. That would be Paul Tracy and Sebastian Saavedra, and a full course caution. Well, they made it through turn 1 okay, but not through lap 1 okay.
And that's a big break for Rahal and Tagliani.
Looks like that there's quite a bit of damage to Paul Tracy's car, so one of the Canadian favorites will be an early out here. Not sure that Sebastian Saavedra's car is damaged all that much. It doesn't look like it. He's signaling for a restart. But for Paul Tracy, he has severe left side pod damage.
There's another car in there somewhere to the right, isn't there?
Yes.
That was involved.
This is Bourdais.
Look back at Tagliani, comes flying up the inside. You can see all of that carbon fiber getting shredded on the back of Rahal's car.
There's a shot from Tags. He just locked the brakes up and couldn't turn, and that's what happens when you lock those brakes up. You're going to normally slide into something, especially after a restart like that.
Now let's see what happened to Tracy. Whoa.
Ooh, wow.
That was actually Graham Rahal.
Yeah.
So Graham Rahal, when the tire was going down, got off and came back onto the racetrack.
And pretty significant contact with Paul Tracy, but Graham Rahal has the helmet off and he will be out of the race.
We saw Rahal going wide. We knew his tire was going down. He was going wide. What we didn't see is now the conclusion of that. He spun right back in front of the oncoming cars.
The Lamontrose safety team and the Phillips emergency crew right there. Everybody appears to be okay, but some serious damage on both Graham Rahal and Paul Tracy's car. So in a full course caution, the first of the afternoon here at City Center Airport in Edmonton, Alberta, and the Edmonton Indy. Back at Edmonton, where the mess is being cleaned up, Paul Tracy and Graham Rahal's cars are pretty well damaged, enough certainly to knock them out of contention here in the early going. As you saw on non-stop, Marco Andretti also stopped on course, or stalled, but he is going again.
Now watch Alex Tagliani, black and white car, coming up to the far right of the screen, passes 4 cars, then right into the back of Graham Rahal. And Wally, when we had the Open, you said, if I'm going to the supermarket and I get hit from behind by you, that's your fault.
I mean, clearly that's Tagliani's fault. You know, he caused that accident. Here's a great shot. He goes down to the inside, and he just clobbers Graham. And, you know, cuts a tire, and then worse things happen following that. Now, you can see Tagliani's got a lot of damage on his right front wing that he's going to have to come in. They'll change that nose. But watch, here comes Rahal back on the track. That's when he collected Paul Tracy. But it ended, you know, Tagliani's mistake completely ended Rahal's day, and for that matter, Paul Tracy's day.
Graham Rahal making that point to Alex.
It's just, you know, it's like, well, what kind of penalty is it? He's going to have to come in and fix the nose anyway and go to the back, but he continues to race. I think he'll come in and fix it.
Let's hope so.
Well, Takuma Sato is the leader of the race. Dixon second. He passed Will Power at the start of the race. Power is third, then Franchitti, Briscoe, E.J. Viso sixth. There's Ryan Hunter-Ray, Elio Castroneves, Oriol Servia, then Tony Kanaan. Behind him, Sebastian Bourdais, then James Hinchcliffe. Vitor Meira is lined up 13th. And Wilson is in 14th position as we see Tagliani making his way toward pit lane.
And this is what the officials would deem a penalty. I know it's odd. He's come in under his own volition to get this changed. Robbie?
Yeah, he was coming in to make sure to top off on also the wing change. He was having a hard time with brakes locking up on the rear, so he knew he had locking problems. So it was kind of surprising to me that he was being that aggressive on the first lap, because he already knew he had braking problems before he even started the race today.
And Robbie, to finish that story, even though that will not show up anywhere on the box score of the race, the officials say, okay, that's a penalty because he went to the back. They didn't put him there, but because he received service, that's why there's often a discrepancy.
Paul Tracy's very badly damaged race cars is being hauled off the racetrack, as is that of Graham Rahal. We'll be back with more from Edmonton, Alberta.
And he rolled around backwards right in front of me.
We're in a break. We've probably got a minute or two.
under caution at Edmonton, where Takuma Sato leads. We've already had one significant contact, and the result of that is Graham Rahal is out of the race. Tagliani got you from behind. What do you feel about this?
I mean, what do you say? This is 2 races in a row for the Service Central team, and I'm frustrated because our car was really good in warm-up. We had improved it a lot, and these are the types of things IndyCar's got to call. I mean, it's not even close. You know, in a corner where you can barely fit 2 wide, we're 2 wide. I'm inside Hinchcliffe. He runs square into the back of me. I mean, what do you say? Look at that. I mean, it's not even. I don't know.
I'm told he has been given a black flag. Doesn't help you right now.
No, I mean, we're out of the race, and you know, we knew this was going to be a good race for us to gain some points, and instead we're sitting on the sidelines. I'm just really disappointed for the Service Central guys. I really thought we'd have a good race. I had a great feeling about it, and you know, we felt like we could gain a lot of points. We should be 5th in points right now. Instead, we're probably going to end up somewhere outside the top 10. So, really, really frustrating.
Okay, thanks, Graham. We're about to go green.
That's 2 races that he's been taking out that he had a good race car. I mean, very frustrating. Yeah.
And we have been told that even though Tagliani came onto the pits to make that repair, they're going to give him an additional penalty. He is going to have to do a drive-through once they go back to green. That's been confirmed from race control.
I think that's the right call. That's a great call. But now you have been penalized.
All right, well, off of corner number 13, let's see how the first restart of the afternoon goes here at Edmonton. Again, Takuma Sato on your right, and Scott Dixon is on the outside of the racetrack as they get the green flag, and Sato will lead him down into turn 1. But look at the movement in the back of the field.
Clear, all clear, all clear. Right there under corner now.
So far, so good in turn number 1, but it was turn number 5 that we saw the action on lap number 1. There's Sebastian Saavedra. He was somewhat involved in that incident with
Power up to 2nd.
They get through it.
Everybody through cleanly. This is the 3rd race that Sato has led, both this year and in his IndyCar career. He led at Brazil and from the pole in Iowa. Single file formation pretty much now as they move out of turn number 12.
You saw Conway dive to the inside, so Conway picked up a position in the white car. Now he just lost it. You'll see it way in the back. A great battle up here, and here comes Ryan Hunter-Reay up the inside.
It's underneath Serbia. Very nice. And that, you know, that's such a slow corner there. Like John said earlier, 35 miles per hour. It seems like you're standing still. Now we'll see. And these guys had trouble yesterday in qualifying. Oh, we're going to go pretty wide.
Nope. Tony Kanaan thinks better of it. What Wally's talking about is yesterday in qualifying, you saw the qualifying show. Ryan Hunter-Reay very upset with Oriol Serbia, pulled in front of him, gave him a brake check. Now they get by without contact, but Kanaan is coming.
Understand that Tagliani did do his drive-through. Black flagged after that incident on lap number 1.
Wilson right there behind Kanaan, making a little ground on Tony. He was taking a look at Serbia. Lost a little bit of ground there. Looks like Kanaan's got a pretty good car.
Justin Wilson wasn't happy with his qualifying, but was very happy with his car. There he is in the Z-Line design colors. He was very pleased after the morning warm-up. Thinks that he can be racy. He's staying right with Tony Kanaan, who we mentioned at the Open, has Takuma Sato's setup.
Wilson running in 11th position. On board with Scott Dixon, who won this race last year. Up ahead is Will Power and the leader of the race, Takuma Sato.
Watch the brake, the PSI on the right when he goes down to turn 1. You'll probably see 1,000 pounds of pressure as he goes into braking here.
Saw 1049. That takes a lot of pressure. When I did that Professor Bean, you saw me push for 400. I was pressing pretty hard. If you're going over 1,000, you're stomping on that brake pedal.
it's almost like that you just stab it really, really hard for a second or so. Then you try to get off it as fast as you can while you're downshifting.
You saw that speed go down to 38. 38 on an airport course.
And we go down to Lindy Thaxton, who's with Paul Tracy.
And he hates this, especially at a home race. Tag penalized, does that even matter to you?
No, not really. I mean, it's just been a massively disappointing weekend for Dragon Racing, and really the highlight has been generating the money that we did for Make-A-Wish, $90,000 in Canada over 2 weekends, and it's just been really 2 poor weekends for us, and frustrating because I want to run well. Everybody on the team wants to run well, but we just haven't had any luck.
Frustrating for him, especially after all day yesterday. No telemetry, guys.
Tony Kanaan is currently in the 9th position.
Now, Kanaan has lost that gap. It looked like he was going to be keeping pressure on the Penske, the 2 yellow cars ahead of him, but there's a pretty big gap. Of course, that'd be to Ryan Hunter-Reay also in his different team, similar colors.
All 3 KV Racing Technology cars are running in the top 10. Sato is the leader, Viso is 5th, and Tony Kanaan is 9th. Watching Ryan Hunter-Reay right behind Helio Castroneves, and he is right behind his Penske teammate, Ryan Briscoe. Here is Sebastian Bourdais. Ahead of him is Serbia. This is for 11th position. Serbia's 11th, Bourdais 12th.
Well, I watch these cars move around. It's great to watch Serbia. Just see that thing from the onboard just sliding across, especially in this section here. Coming up in 10 and 11, they say it's where the car really gets loose through here.
Sebastian Bourdais is a 2-time winner here at Edmonton, won in 2005 and in 2007. It's great to see him giving the Dale Coyne car a good run. He had a good run in Toronto and has a good one going here this afternoon.
But Vitor Mira, though, keep an eye on the left-hand side because Vitor Mira is sizing him up. ABC Supply. Robin Miller had, that was great. Robin Miller saying, a couple tenths of a second, we'll pay you 100 grand.
Nice job,
The driver who has picked up the most spots, actually 2 drivers have picked up 8 positions. J.R. Hildebrand started 24th, now 16th, and Danica Patrick has also gained 8 positions since the beginning of the race. And you can see that also Justin Wilson has gained 5.
Simona locked up the brakes a little bit there. That was the car that was smoking.
Green and white, and for Simona, and well, you know this well, when you have one of those brake lockups and then you get a flat spot on your tire and you're this early in a stint, you're thinking, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm gonna drive the rest of this stint with the wheel just vibrates in your hand violently after you get a big flat spot.
Takuma Sato has about a 0.6 of a second lead. Well, it's a matter of car lengths, actually, over Will Power. Scott Dixon, Dario Franchitti, and Ryan Briscoe are the top 5 on Versus. the likable guys on the IZOD IndyCar circuit this year, Takuma Sato. They call him Taku. He is currently the leader of the race, having put himself there from the pole position, which he won yesterday in qualifying. There he is. But his advantage over Will Power is very slight. You see back there in 5th position is Ryan Briscoe. He got around EJ Viso while we were in commercial break, and now Viso is under attack from Ryan Hunter-Reay and Helio Castroneves. Here's Ryan Briscoe as we go on board with him. His best finish here at Edmonton. He's finished 4th on 2 different occasions last year and in 2009, and was 6th in 2008. So all top 10 finishes for a guy who needs a good solid run here this afternoon. Now this is Will Power.
These guys are the top 4 just so evenly matched right now. They're just, one of these guys just waiting for one little slip up so they can try to make a move. Actually, the top about 10.
Yeah.
Nice mixture of teams. Of course, this is KV Racing Technology for Sato, followed by Penske for Power, 2 Target Chip Ganassi, and followed by another Penske. So nice mix of teams here.
Power won this race in 2009. He is a 3-time pole sitter here, but not yesterday. So his streak of 8 consecutive pole positions on street or road courses was broken yesterday when Sato grabbed it from him.
Hear that, Bob? Hear that radio transmission? Patience for 5 more laps. So that's kind of like hang in there. We want to get to either a fuel number or get pressures that we want, and then they're going to start turning people loose.
Third and 4th, the 2 Target Chip Ganassi cars being led by Scott Dixon. Franchitti is right behind Scott. Franchitti, of course, the leader of the point standings in race number 11 of 18. Kevin?
Bob, during our pre-race, Dario Franchitti mentioned that he wanted to say hello to Michael Wanzer. That's Barry Wanzer's Michael's dad. He is the team manager for Target Chip Ganassi, and he's on the stand with Chip calling Dario's race. Michael's been in for a fight the last couple of years, and everyone here at the team and in the IndyCar community wanted to say hello. And he's also a big fan of the Firestone Firehawks. The Firestone made a get well soon Iron Mike car. That's what his friends and family call him. So everybody wants to say hello to Mike. We're all counting on you to keep fighting, buddy.
We're riding with you, Michael. There you see the top 4 running very close together, and not too far back in 5th is Ryan Briscoe. Then comes EJ Viso and Ryan Hunter-Reay. Rest of the field comes through. There's Danica Patrick, who's running 14th. And back up front as they head to turn number 1 once again is Takuma Sato.
Bob, that radio transmission that we heard about be patient for about 5 more laps, you just get the sense that the 3 cars behind Sato are biding their time, sizing up, see what happens with tire wear. They haven't done a lot of laps on these red sidewall alternates, and in fact, Graham Rahal joins us in the booth now. You'd be the perfect person to ask at this stage, what's the longevity like for these red sidewalls? Are they biding their time, or is this case where now Sato's gapping them a bit?
You know, the tires are pretty good actually here. The tire life seems to be pretty good. The red sidewalls, I think they've done a great job with that compound. You know, this morning we ran a pretty long stint on them, and they were pretty consistent. The power down starts to go at the end, but you know, really I would think that these 3 guys, being the 3 that they are probably just being quite patient, and I have no doubt that they all have the speed to run with Sato. It's just a matter of making the least amount of mistakes.
15 laps complete. 15 laps complete. Good job,
Graham, nice you could join us in the booth. Sorry you were out so early, but
yeah, it's what do you say? You know, you can see the video. It's pretty clear to see what happened. So it's you know, it's frustrating for the Service Central guys, though. That's for sure.
Lindy is with Jimmy Vasser, the V and KB Racing Technology.
And you've told Sato he needs to save fuel. Does that worry you with Will behind him?
Not at this point. It's always a little more difficult when you're the lead car to gauge how much you can save because you don't want to fall under attack. So we're trying to do the best we can, but also keep ourselves in the front. So
at this point, when do you plan on bringing him in for his first stop?
We're looking at 28, 29.
Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks. Sato still leads. He has from the drop of the green flag. And another one of their drivers, EJ Viso, right there, is in the 6th position. 16 of 80 laps completed here at City Center Airport, Edmonton, Alberta. Takuma Sato, the leader. Seen some pretty good racing in the middle of the pack and the back of the pack, but Takuma Sato has things all his way at the front of the field. Saw a good battle there for 6th position as EJ Viso tries to hold off Ryan Hunter-Reay. You also saw some good battling there between Sebastian Bourdais and Oriol Servia for the 11th position. This summer, NBC and Versus take you on a ride. Witness history at one of racing's most storied tracks. It's summer at Saratoga. Coverage continues on Versus Saturday at 5 Eastern with the Diana and the Jim Dandy. It's summer at Saratoga, live on NBC and Versus. With 17 laps completed, we are nearing the point where we should see some pit stops.
Yeah, but keep an eye on Power. Will Power has really closed down onto the back of Takuma Sato. I think he's waiting and possibly trying to pressure him into making a mistake. I'm not sure, Graham, do you agree that he's probably not going to dive bomb him, but he's trying to really put some pressure on him?
I would agree with you, although we were talking about fuel saving and pit stops there a second ago. I think that the 3 guys behind Sato are probably saving more fuel than him right now. Will, Dixie, and Dario are saving fuel. You can hear him there. He's coasting a lot. So he's probably really just judging his fuel saving based on where Sato is. I wouldn't think that he's trying to get by him too aggressively. There's still so many laps to go.
On a track like this,
See, that's what I mean. You wait for someone to do something like that.
Here we go.
Wait for the mistake.
There you have it.
He's got a half a second later on the brake pedal.
And Sato was on the button. Sato got on his button defensively.
They're both locked up.
And he's going to lose 2 spots.
Yep.
How about that?
That's all you got. That's what you wait for. Somebody make one little mistake and everybody pounces on them.
Exactly. And the track grip here has been so low. You could hear, you know, when they both went to the brakes.
Boy, they're
down
almost 3 abreast into turn number 1, and Sato does now fall back to 3rd position. He gave Scott Dixon a good battle there down the straightaway, but he falls back to 3rd, and now
Dario.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Here's a move in turn 5. Got it.
Picture perfect, giving each other room. Not what he wanted, but Graham.
Hang on with Dario. Hang on with Dario.
That's
one
spot
little
on.
miscue and
That's spot on here. And this track, you know, where you saw Sato make his mistakes, right here, turns 10, the quick right-hander, 11, 12, this next sequence, it's so bumpy and so rough, and it's so easy to make a mistake that I could see it happening.
How about picking up your braking points? And here's wow,
he
that's
almost
a great
got the
shot.
lead.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. But is it hard to see your braking point? You know, on these flat tracks like this, you got nothing to really, you know, say, okay, I'm going to go to this or that before I brake.
It's very hard, and you see the markers there, the little white signs. Those have numbers on the other side, but they're really small here. You know, generally the marker would be a good few feet tall, and here they're pretty tiny.
Or go. Up to you.
Well, you know, you have to have low aircraft, right? In case aircraft's coming in, you got to keep it real low.
I guess, although I hope one doesn't land on the runway here.
They did say in the driver's meeting they're going to have bigger ones for next year, so we have something to look forward to.
All right, let's go through the field. Kevin, you're first.
Well, we're within 10 laps of the first pit stop. Will Power is in front. Last year, he entered this race off 2 straight wins and had a 42-point lead. This year, 2 straight DNFs. He's down 55. He just simply wants a clean race. Right behind him, we move back to Scott Dixon, who just moved up to that 2nd position, followed along with Power. His birthday was on Friday, 31, and in 10 starts the weekend of or immediately following his birthday. He has 3 wins, 2 of them coming here, another in 2007 at Mid-Ohio. Dixon's teammate Dario Franchitti is running in the 3rd position. In 18 career IndyCar races in Canada, he has 6 wins. 1/3 of the time he's won, and he's led 47% of the laps so far this season. Still trying to get to the front, Lindy.
Well, we've seen Sato fall back. Jimmy Vasser told him, settle in, be smart. We can see you have brake issues. They've told him to adjust the brake bias and see what he can do with that. A good day so far for him. Hopefully he can fix that, Robbie.
Well, Ryan Briscoe started in 6th. He's moved up to 5th. He had a good car yesterday, but they made mechanical changes like his 2 teammates earlier this morning. He really likes the car now, and he's moved up 1 position into 5th.
EJ Vizo, after that, had a good day yesterday in practice sessions, qualified 5th. They made a few minor changes overnight, and he's very happy with them. But they've told him, keep pushing, EJ, because we cannot afford for you to lose any more spots. Kevin?
Lindsey Ryan Hunter-Ray thought he had a good run at EJ Vizo a couple of laps ago, but said he screwed up his push to pass. He won the fan voting at IndyCar.com, earning the $10,000 Firestone Tire-rific move of the race at Toronto, recovering from a broken wing to finish 3rd. Robbie?
Leo Castroneves started in 9th. He's moved up to 8th. He was really concerned with the braking all weekend, and not just the fronts, but the rears. In turn 1, it was the fronts that were locking up. In turns 5 and 13, it was the rears. And boy, you don't want to be messing with the brake bias during the race, Lindy.
Tony Kanaan has never had much luck here. He came into this thinking new circuit, new team might just be what I need. In fact, he came into this whole season with no expectations, he says, because I simply couldn't have any. He qualified 11th. He's had a lot of trouble with the car the past couple days. They just asked him, how does it feel? He says it's okay. Robbie?
Justin Wilson in the 10th spot now. He moves up 5 spots, and he was out there running with low downforce. Larry Curry, I talked to him just before he went out today. He said, we're going to give him a car that can go fast, and we'll see what he can do with it. He was concerned about braking. With low downforce, that usually doesn't add the same, but when you're going fast, you can keep guys behind. Just behind him in 11th spot, in the number 19 is Sebastian Bourdais. And really it comes down to, although it's a 2-car team, this team needs a backup car. They haven't had time to do any testing. When I went and talked to him after that last warm-up session, it was like a physics lab, and they're trying to figure out the response in the dampers. Kevin?
Oriol Servia is running in 12th position, and they're going to come in and pit here momentarily. He's dealing with severe understeer. Numanos has had great success here, though. 6 times, 6 podiums. Servia was 2nd in 05. Robbie?
Vitor Mira, another low downforce car. He says he likes it that way. He's been doing it since his Formula 3 days back in 2000 and 2001. He calls it the Brazil approach, and right now it's Vitor Mira in 13th. Lindy?
Danica's story is inconsistency. She says it's inconsistency with her and the car. In the morning warm-up, locking up the brakes, car not compliant at all when turning the wheels in 7 through 12. 24th in the warm-up, 22nd starting the race today. She was hoping new track, clean slate. Bob, like many others, this has not been a good place for her in years past.
And there you have the top 14. 15th is Hinchcliffe, then Hildebrand, De Silvestro, Andretti. Beatrice and Kimball are your top 20. 2 cars out, Tracy and Graham Rahal. He's in the booth with us right now. And Oriol Serbia is in as we see the pit stops beginning now on lap number 25. Kevin is there.
As mentioned, severe understeer for Oriol Serbia, so they come in a little bit early. A lot of dust in their pit area as he comes in. They had the alternate red tires to start the race, going to the sticker black primary tires. A little bit harder, might have a little more life, but not quite as quick. Serbia's away. That's a pretty good stop.
And Kevin, you pointed it out. Did you see the amount of brake dust that came off of the front? And we heard some of the teams being concerned about brakes. Graham, were you concerned today about wearing out your brakes?
I mean, this place is really tough on the brakes. In fact, we started the race with a fresh pair. Normally you'll bet them in a little bit, but we started completely fresh to get the best brake pedal possible. But yeah, I was surprised even to see that shot, the amount of dust that comes off. But you know, when you think about it, this circuit's got 3 really long straightaways that you know, it works the brakes quite aggressively.
Now, the blacks and the reds, are they pretty much your bias the same on the brakes, or does it change if you go to the blacks?
I ran it the same this morning, and it was pretty good. Very consistent. You know, generally what happens on the older tires is the brakes start to wear, the rears will want to lock up. But I think that's something that you can manage over the race distance without a problem. And, you know, certainly with these straightaways, you have a lot of time to adjust those things and change the brake bias if need be.
And normally, if you're going to go to that, like if you're going to go to like a little bit more rear, are you just turning? Is it just
Serbia's of the tires and a full course caution. Just made a pit stop.
At turn 6.
That's a huge surprise. I mean, Oriol doesn't make mistakes.
Maybe contact from somebody else, huh? We'll try to find out if that was the case. Anyway, second full course caution on the 26th lap of the race. Here's a replay. Alex Tagliani is trying to get to
Conway.
Oh, yes,
Mike
right.
Conway.
Mike Conway.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
That wasn't going to work.
Okay, give us your analysis, Graham.
I mean, that's just not a passing zone. You know, when you have to work that hard to be up on the curb to avoid someone. We're in a place where you don't use a curb anyway. That's just not what you do. There is you set them up for turn 13, the last turn. I don't know.
I mean, obviously Serbia had no idea he was there. I don't think it was expecting him to be there either.
No, like I said, that's not a zone you would normally attempt to pass whatsoever.
Well, the full course caution comes at a pretty good time for pit stops.
Had the caution come out and it wouldn't have been for Serbia, that would have been what he wanted. That would have been his free pass to the front. The last thing they wanted was to be the cause of the yellow. They were looking for yellow, but fortunately it was his own.
Pretty big hit there for Oriol. Remains in the cockpit, obviously hoping that the car isn't damaged too badly.
And this is on the backside of what you were talking about earlier, Jan. Wasn't on your pit window.
Yeah,
28, 29 was good.
They're in the window. This.
Pits are open. Pits are open.
So you will see all the leaders. Now, one person who did make an early pit stop was Tagliani. Now, he's obviously way back in the order, but he will be a person that does not have to stop.
And Serbia is moving once again. Looks to be okay.
Oh, there goes
Whoops,
the rear
there goes
wing.
the rear wing.
He was just thinking, you know what, I think I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. I had this happen at St. Pete. That's never a good situation.
He's pretty close to pit in, so we'll be able to make it okay.
That's very low downforce. Too much.
Yes, that's for sure. So Tagliani pitted only 5 laps ago. Conway pitted 3 laps ago. So he was also, not only was Serbia, but Conway was coming out in that same sort of sequence, which is why Conway was so racy.
Pit lane will become very, very busy here in a matter of moments. Here comes the field through turn number 13. We're going to begin our pit coverage with Lindy Thaxton as she will be watching the pit stop of the guy running 4th right now, Takuma Sato.
And all 3 KV pits right next to each other could be tricky. I'm told Sato will take black tires and get a tire pressure adjustment, hoping to help with those brake issues. Down to you, Kevin.
Right here.
Leaders will come in the same position with pit selection as they are running in this race. Power in the first stall. Dixon is right behind him, and then Franchitti after that. Power will change to the primary black tires. Right in front of Scott Dixon. Let's see who's going to win this important race off pit road. Power is the quickest, and followed by Dixon. And then Franchitti is just barely going to be at Ryan Briscoe to the cone to hang on to 3rd place.
There the position changes on the Sunoco race off pit road. Sunoco, proud manufacturer of ethanol. So Castro Neves gains 2 positions. Viso loses 2. Briscoe up 1. Sato down 1 to 5th.
We saw Hinchcliffe. There he is.
Yeah.
Now, he couldn't have run out of fuel, could he? Would it be that close?
No, he should not have run out of fuel.
Okay, when they get you restarted, go round 1 time before you come into the pits.
I don't believe he's lost a lap yet.
Yeah.
Which is why they would tell him to go ahead and close that gap, because they don't want to lose that lap. Now there's your answer. He didn't run out of fuel, otherwise it would not have restarted.
Go around 1 time and then come into the pits.
Understand the race control is reviewing the situation regarding Mike Conway, who had the contact with Oriol Serbia.
We just need to close the gap a little
We'll
bit.
await the decision from race control. Hinchcliffe is moving once again. There is Mike Conway. Saavedra, Conway are at the front of the field because they pitted earlier. Stay with us for more Under Caution here at Edmonton and the Edmonton Indy.
At the hairpin at turn 13. Scott Dixon also got around him shortly after that.
at the Edmonton Indy in Edmonton, Alberta. Mike Conway shown as the leader of the race. He and Oriol Servia got together, causing this situation, this caution period we are in. Alex Tagliani, who was penalized earlier, is in second. Now we question why James Hinchcliffe was stalled on the racetrack, and there is the reason why.
Get to jam on the brakes to avoid getting in the back of Danica and stall the car.
Now, Wally, during the break, you made the comment, hang on a minute. Now, Mike Conway, who took out Oriol Servia, is leading this race. And I'm pausing because as I am speaking, they are going to penalize him as they did for Tagliani, but it has to be after green. So temporarily, he has the lead with Tagliani. This will be good. Down to
wow, close.
Yeah, no
start.
Oh my. That did not look good mid-pack.
See, this is exactly somewhat of what we saw when I was in the lead in Toronto. Was, you know, guys like to play a lot of games. If you watch Tagliani there, he takes off, and Conway's sitting there jamming on the brakes because he realizes how far ahead he is.
Let's see if we can.
It's one of the Penske cars that all of a sudden dives.
See how far ahead Tagliani is?
Yeah. And you'll see Castro Neves and also Ryan Hunter-Reay all of a sudden turn left.
Well, they had to.
Right.
They were gonna clobber Briscoe.
You want to stay with them, and then they called it off.
From Briscoe's perspective,
wow. Hey, Viso. What are you doing?
and race control has also told Mike Conway to set the pace for the restart. He kind of laid back there on that one we just had, and Tagliani got out in front, but they want Conway to set the pace here. Take a look from Alex Tagliani's point of view.
Yeah, see, he has to wait. See, he slows down just like Graham said. He's waiting. He says, well, hey, where's the pole sitter? Come on.
See, and that's late. That's very late. We were instructed in the driver's meeting that you go at the beginning of pit wall or just thereafter.
Right where that fence was, and they were well past that fence, yes.
And 8 guys wasted an overtake on that aborted restart.
I did that last week too. So.
Let's try it again. Conway to your right, Tagliani to the left. Then comes Power, Franchitti, Dixon, and Viso. And here we go. We are green this time. And again, a lot of movement throughout the pack. Look at this.
Yikes, Batman.
This doesn't look good.
Still 3 wide. Boy, Elliott was caught in the sandwich, isn't he?
That's fun, isn't it, Graham?
That's some good driving there. To not have any problems, I'm pretty surprised.
When it works.
Oh, wait a minute. We got to get to 5. This is where we've seen a lot of action. And there we go.
There you go again. Viso.
Yeah.
Viso into Dixon.
That was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Conway's off too on the outside.
Everybody gets through 1 so clean, and then they get down to 5 and unplug their brains.
It's it's so hard to explain. I mean, it's just there's such a lack of respect.
But isn't it too, Graham, though? I mean, it's funny. You sit in the driver's meeting, it's like, give each other room, give each other respect. But if you see an opportunity to take, a couple of positions here, guys are going to do it. I don't care, and there's
Dixon's going wide. He's going wide onto the inside of the curves because he had contact with Viso. He's trying to nurse the car back to pit lane.
We are not under a full course caution. There's Anna Beatrice with damage. Kevin.
We got stuff all over the track now, Kevin.
Mike Hull said your tires are okay to Scott Dixon, but Dixon said there's water in the cockpit and my butt is on fire. So he's coming in right now. I don't think he means literally on fire, but it's not comfortable. He is very hot in the seat right now.
That's a broken radiator.
Yeah.
Here, Scott. We'll take a look at it here.
Viso got into the side of him where the radiator is located, Kevin.
No water pressure here, Scott.
Dixon in. Let's watch and see what they do.
I think he'll be unbuckling and getting out.
Yeah, they're just going to stop and take a look, and there was the signal to shut it off, so another championship contender is going to see his day end early.
Stay in the car, Scott. We're going to roll you out of here now, right away. Just leave it the way it is. Let's go just on these tires. Let's go to the truck, change the radiator. We'll come back out if we need to.
Okay, as you can hear, they are not done for the day. Mike Hull and the crew are going to try to fix this car, but their chances of winning are done. But they will try to get back out and score some points. They've got a big cushion on third in the championship, so they might be able to maintain that here today and give themselves a little bit more of a cushion moving forward. But it's going to be a long repair.
Viso has been restarted and is back up to speed. As we look again at what happened as the field headed into turn number 5, there is Scott Dixon. You're going to have to work on the car behind the pit wall. Here's what happened.
Okay, now if we can stop it right here for a second, I want to highlight something before Dario. Can we stop here? Well, just keep an eye on Dario Franchitti. That was an amazing piece of driving for him to not make contact while you see E.J. Viso. And on the outside of the racetrack, watch Mike Conway. He goes off on the exit.
This is Will Power. And Ryan Briscoe. He had maybe had
good
some
job
contact
on Briscoe's part too. Yeah,
parts flying everywhere. And there's a big piece of debris from Anna Beatrice's car.
I think that's off her front wing.
Yeah. But we remain under green here. Scott Dixon's car taken back behind the wall for repairs. He has not won a race this year, but he's finished second on 4 different occasions, including 2 weeks ago in Toronto.
See, and this is a smart move on the 9 car's part, because if you watch what they're doing, I mean, they're going to fix this thing and get back out. At the rate people fall out in these races recently, they can still pick up some points. And, you know, as close as this championship chase is right now, where I am, you know, from 4th on back, it's competitive. So any points you can get are good. I mean, even my guys went back to look, but unfortunately we didn't have any drive shafts that were attached to the car, so it didn't work.
There's Sebastian Bourdais, who is in 8th position. Graham, I do not want to meet under these conditions again, but thank you for your visit to the booth. We appreciate it very much. 33 laps out of 80 completed here at Edmonton. Will Power, Sato Tagliani, the top 3.
Welcome back to Edmonton. There you see Scott Dixon. His crew is replacing the radiator. He said it was hot in the seat, and he feels a lot better now. But the big conversation, listening to their radio here over the last couple of minutes, he's obviously quite peeved at EJ Viso. I'm not 100% certain of this, so I have to clarify this statement. But he asked who hit me. He was told EJ Viso. It sounded to me like he said, get me back out there. I want to take him out. He was then later told that Viso is not going to be black flagged because he essentially served the penalty himself through coming in because of the damage. And then there was a conversation with Dixon and Mike Hull talking about it's not right that the person that causes the contact and the damage can finish ahead of the person that suffered the damage.
And so the controversy continues.
I agree with that. I mean, but it's hard. It's a hard call, obviously, you know, because these guys are tore up. They're fixing their car. So, I mean, what do you do? Viso's out there running.
It's going to hurt Dixon in the points. He'll fall 93 back. That's the way the points are right now. Of course, Power is going to gain on Franchitti if they finish the way they're running right now. But Scott Dixon takes a hit. On the racetrack, it's Power leading over Takuma Sato, then Ryan Hunter Tagliani.
As Ryan Hunter-Reay has just got by him.
Yeah.
So that's a change of position. Now remember, Tagliani cannot run as hard as the other cars because he has 3 laps.
Wow, that was close.
Actually, it's 5 laps less of fuel for Tagliani. He can't be quite as racy, but he's hanging in there.
That was Justin Wilson trying to get by Ryan Briscoe. 6th and 7th. Bourdais running 8th, looking good in the Boy Scouts car.
Yeah, that's a great run for those guys.
And then right behind him is points leader Dario Franchitti. We can see him as we have the shot out the rear of Bourdais' car.
Behind Tagliani in front, backing up behind Tag.
And then comes Tony Kanaan back there in 10th spot.
On board with Bourdais.
Remember, Sebastian Bourdais has been running endurance races. He ran the 24 Hours of Le Mans and some others. And if there's ever a guy that's going to know how to keep your brakes underneath you for a long race, he has that kind of experience.
This is only his 4th race this year for the Dale Coyne team. Finished 11th at Barber, 27th at Long Beach, and finished 6th at Toronto 2 weeks ago.
Don't forget, Wilson's on the Reds, where all these guys around him are on the blacks.
Won one of his races this year, a 6-hour event. And Sebastian Bourdais, as you said,
returns.
Yeah, you're clear right here. Nobody's on the front straight. Leader is now exiting turn 13.
About 5 laps down, 5 or 6 laps down.
5.
Yeah, we're 5 laps down as a lead lap. So we'll see where we get here.
And we'll see if he hunts down Viso.
went right to the steering wheel. My guess is he went.
Still 50 laps to go in the race. 50 laps.
He went to full rich. Of course, sorry, that adjustment's been taken away. Excuse me. Forgot that one.
On board with J.R. Hildebrand, who is running 15th. And just one lap ago, we had this little situation on the racetrack. That's Marco Andretti. And J.R. makes a pass.
That's a perfect outbraking maneuver. Although Andretti's back in front of him.
Yes, he is.
So he must have done a really nice braking maneuver as well.
So Andretti 14th and Hildebrand 15th. Down the long backstretch leading to turn number 13. Meanwhile, back up front, Will Power has a 1.5 second lead, and Sato is under attack. I got that term from watching the Tour de France on Takuma Sato.
See Franchitti there, getting by Bourdais. That is for the 8th spot. And I'll tell you what, Hunter Ray is going to take a look here.
Oh, no!
Not enough.
What was going on?
Oh,
there was no way that was on.
Yeah.
You could see that coming a mile away. He thought about it, and then you think, okay, abort.
That's the same thing he did at Briscoe at Barber.
It looked like he took his foot off the brake to try and get into position when you should have been pushing the brake to get out of position.
Wow. So Sato, the pole sitter and the guy who led 18 laps in this race, is stopped on the race course after contact from Ryan Hunter-Ray. Here it is.
See, right here, he's thinking, oh, I'm not going to be able to make the pass, and then changes his mind. I mean, there's no way, Wally, that he's even close.
And as we talked in the opening, that's front tire to rear tire. That, in my opinion, he should be serving a penalty for that. Unfortunately, you know, Sato is back in 19th spot now. And, I mean, you know, you just eliminated a guy from a possible win.
Jimmy Vasser is not unhappy talking to race officials.
That thing running. Come on, just get it running.
That's a shame right there.
Yep, it sure is. So the Homatro safety team is out. They will get Sato refired, not under a full course caution, local caution only in turn 5.
So he's going a lap down right now. There'll be no passing in here because that's going to be a caution area.
How frustrating is that? Just sit there and watch all those guys go by. You were just in front of.
Keep going, man. That wasn't your fault.
Comes out just ahead of Vitor Mira.
Tagliani is under attack. Captain Nevis right there. Hunter Ray and Briscoe. And if we call the wrong yellow car, it could happen.
Let's get down to Kevin.
Mike Hull calls the race for Scott Dixon. He's the managing director. All right, your view of that incident. I've heard on the radio what Scott thinks about it.
Well, you know, it's a shame to have a really good car. You know, Scott's car's been a great car all weekend. And to be taken out by somebody that could have used a little more discretion early in the race is difficult to swallow.
Do you have concerns about retribution from your driver that could damage your race car again?
Well, I mean, our guys worked hard to fix the car. That's what we do. We'll just keep racing. And, you know, racing is a funny business. What goes around comes around.
All right, Mike Hull, Target Chip Ganassi on the stand for Scott Dixon.
Scott Dixon 6 laps down in 24th position. We have reached the halfway point. 40 laps of the 80 have been completed. We're on lap number 41 as we watch Tagliani in second and still under attack from Ryan Hunter-Ray. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Stay with us. 42 laps completed here at Edmonton, Alberta. And we saw Ryan Hunter-Reay get a drive-through penalty, and he has, as a result, fallen back to 13th position. Given a drive-through penalty because of contact with Sato, and Sato is currently on pit lane, getting the stop and moving back out.
Stay on the left side, but it's no big deal. All right, Bob, I need you to get going. And first, we got an extended window here. We have a chance to get our lap back.
He is 1 lap down in 21st.
Jimmy Vasser, prior to that, was cheerleading him and saying that that was not your fault, and they did give a drive-through to Ryan Hunter-Reay, trying to kind of get that confidence back into his driver.
And Ryan Hunter-Reay had an on-track skirmish, shall we say, yesterday with Oriol Serbia during qualifying. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, he felt Serbia was blocking him or should have got out of the way while Hunter-Reay was on a hot lap right at the end of qualifying. He got in front of Serbia and then brake checked him. And they had a few words. I'll tell you what, if you would have done that to me, Jan, if you would have brake checked me, I would have been pretty angry.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether
was that before or after you ran into me on the way to the
supermarket? On the way to the grocery store.
We have a lot of issues, don't we?
Yeah, I guess we do.
I'll keep these guys separated, don't worry. Power has extended his lead to almost 5.5 seconds over Alex Tagliani as we're on board once again with Sebastian Bourdais running in 6th spot, just having a great race for the Dale Coyne team. It's Justin Wilson up ahead.
Frank Keaty there in 7th spot. He's made up a couple of spots, but really hasn't made up as much ground as I thought he would, right after that Viso incident.
The guys here talking about Sebastian Bourdais, and he should know how to take care of the brakes at Le Mans. He's been looking for control on the initial braking all week on turn-in, and he seemed to be really lost trying to find that answer. According to the tire construction, he said at Toronto they got it right, but it was a differently constructed tire. It had a softer sidewall, and they were really working in the truck to try and figure things out, working on tire pressure, valve, spring. But like I was trying to say in that run through the field, they don't have a backup car to work with to test on a shaker rig. All their testing will have to be done next week when they go to Mid-Ohio.
And Robbie, the reason that's different is they're actually running on a road course tire instead of a street course tire, because the original Edmonton circuit was much faster. You might be able to get away with a street course tire here, but for this year, it's road course.
Still right on the rear wing of Justin Wilson. Meanwhile, Elio Castroneves has his best run of the year going in 3rd position. There is Ryan Briscoe, who is right behind Elio. There's Elio in the number 3 car. Believe it or not, Castroneves' best finish of the year has been 4th, and that was at the 2nd race at Texas. So if he continues, this would be his first podium of the year. Elio involved in the big brouhaha last year here at Edmonton when he was penalized for blocking Will Power.
And right ahead of him, of course, Alex Tagliani has a slightly different pit strategy. He can't run quite as hard as Castroneves. In fact, Tagliani is going to have to hit his pit stop in 1 lap, whereas Castroneves has a bit of a window to play with, because that's what got Tagliani where he is, was by taking that risk. They already knew they had contact. They had a drive-through penalty. They rolled the dice. As we see Justin Wilson there again battling with Sebastian Bourdais.
Danica Patrick has moved up 13 positions since the start of the race. She is currently in 9th spot, and J.R. Hildebrand has also made up quite a few positions, a dozen as a matter of fact, and he is being shown in the 12th spot. There is Danica. Best finish this year has been a 5th at Milwaukee.
That'll be an 8th place spot here in a second when Tag pulls in to make his pit stop.
That's right. Yep.
He is about 6 laps away, so we'll have to see what happens between now and 6 laps. Tony Kanaan certainly getting a bit loose off that corner.
Second, third, fourth, fifth on back running very close, but Will Power now extends his lead to more than 5.5 seconds. Over Tagliani, Castroneves, Briscoe, and Wilson. Approaching another pit stop for Alex Tagliani in a few laps. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Edmonton, Alberta, as we are 47 laps into the 80-lap race. Second race of the year and the final one in Canada, and Alex Tagliani is on pit lane. Good timing here. We come back from commercial, and here he is. Robbie, headed toward you.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Right now, Alex Tagliani's both. He was good in the race, but when he made that contact earlier, he had to come in for a drive-through penalty. Then later on, when he's running off schedule, he actually stalled the car. And right now, they're putting on the brand new set of reds. When you qualify 17th, you can have a couple of sets of reds. He really likes the car right now, but he's really lucky. 9.6 stop. And he still needs to save a little bit of fuel if he's going to make it to the end on yellow. Or he needs some yellows, guys, if he's going to make it to the end.
Robbie, that's the key item. You see Ryan Hunter right here by Simona De Silvestro, but Tagliani stopped too early. He is going to have help with yellow. He cannot make it to the end if it were to stay green. So, yes, it was lucky that that strategy worked, but he needs help, just like Robbie was saying.
And a good battle between Ryan Briscoe and Elio Castroneves now for second spot. That's Briscoe now in second. And here is how it happened. Into turn number one. Briscoe to the inside.
Wow, and you could see Castroneves did not know he was there until the last second. You could see the car turning down on the left, and then all of a sudden Castroneves jerked the car to the right. Yeah. He saw him at the last second, but that was a great pass.
Said, wait, I see myself. No, wait, that's Briscoe. Yeah.
So Team Penske is first, second, and third. Power, Briscoe, Castroneves. Here's a recap of what's happened so far with Jan.
Before we do, let's just watch Kanaan getting by Bourdais. And that certainly sets the stage for what happened today. Now, from the start, it was brilliant until you get to turn 5. Alex Tagliani, no way, can't make it. Gets into Graham Rahal. We see Graham's tire going down. Look at that, right into the path of Paul Tracy. Knocks him out. Carnage on lap 1, but it was in corner 5. Graham Rahal, who joined us in the booth, lets Tagliani know what he thinks of that. The stewards agree. He gets a drive-through. On 18, lap 18, it's Will Power forcing it up the inside of Takuma Sato, and Dixon almost gets the lead. At least he gets second position at this point. Lap 24, very odd incident, a place where Graham Rahal said you normally wouldn't even try a pass. Wheel-to-wheel contact. That also was a drive-through penalty for Conway. Lap 30, here's the one where E.J. Viso did something very similar to what we saw at Tagliani, but unfortunately this time, Dixon is the car that received the most damage. They got it back out on course. Laps down, they're trying to salvage whatever they might today. And finally on lap 38, Ryan Hunter-Reay from way back gets into position. Nope, not in position. The stewards also agree that that was avoidable contact, and Wally would just say so far pretty consistent on how they're reacting to each one of those incidents.
Absolutely. I think all the calls have been dead on today, and you know, unlike a lot of questions last week or last race at Toronto, so far today I agree with all those calls.
And it's an 8.6 second advantage for Will Power. Lindy?
Marco's been pretty miserable today. They asked him, how's the car feel? He said, I don't even know where to start. This thing is a mess. And he actually said, I feel vulnerable out here. He's in and out in 10.9.
Wow. James Hinchcliffe also getting service on pit lane. He rolls back out.
To try and save fuel now to make the end, and not to make that window. That car was falling apart.
And so these are those that are rolling the dice on the second pit stop. Now they need a caution to come out before the leaders do to get that kind of free pass we saw earlier from Tagliani. Those guys won't bother Will Power, however.
Despite being penalized, Ryan Hunter-Reay has worked himself back up into the top 10. He is 10th. And here comes Ryan Briscoe on your left down pit lane.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, shallow.
Rugo's
real good, doing a great job here. Just watch. I got to fill it. I got to fill it. I got to fill it.
That's Roger Penske.
I got to fill it. I got to fill it.
And when he says I gotta fill it, means that if you're going to do this alternate strategy, you have to have every drop of ethanol, or it's not going to work. Now, Roger Penske made that call because he has obviously determined there will be a caution between now and when the leaders pit. At least that's what he's banking on. And so we'll see if he's called that right.
Comes out just ahead of Sebastian Saavedra, who is running in 14th position. Here's Will, still setting the pace. He has led 31 of 51 laps so far, and the lead is a monstrous one. It is almost 9 seconds over his teammate Elio Castroneves. Now running in third because Briscoe pitted, is Justin Wilson, and right behind him is Dario Franchitti. Then comes Kanaan running in fifth. On board with Sebastian Bourdais. Whoa, all crossed up.
And it is really wet out there. He did a nice job of bringing that back on because it's like a swamp.
Looked like the car got loose when he went to turn in. He went to correct it and just ran out of asphalt.
Bourdais is currently in 7th.
Boy Scouts will be proud of that move. That was nicely done.
Conway is in, Kevin.
He is one of those that has also served a penalty today, but he's still essentially on the same strategy. But like Ryan Briscoe, he'd love to see a yellow here in the next lap or two. Most of the leaders should be in within 2 to 3 laps. Conway stays on the lead lap, and he's still in the mix.
And he comes out just ahead of Takuma Sato, running back in 22nd, but Sato is a lap down.
Nicely done.
Yep.
Well, no, he overshot a bit.
And the leader is on pit lane. Will Power comes to the attention of his crew, Kevin.
Here comes Will Power, his final stop today. He said today all he wants is a clean race. Don't let anyone hit me. So far, so good. He's been able to now stay out out in front of the melee. He's going to scuff reds. He wanted no changes. The car has been perfect today for Will Power, and he's one more green stint away from getting back to victory lane.
All clear. All clear.
We saw Justin Wilson lose a position to Dario Franchitti, so Castroneves is the leader, and then Franchitti currently runs in second spot.
And Hunter Ray just got by Mirror. That was for fifth spot.
Yep. Here comes Dario to the inside of Justin.
Perfect positioning, gets off of the brakes to keep that rolling speed. It's one thing to take position, but then while you have to take that energy and get off the brake pedal, that shot him through with a good exit. And Wilson's back by him.
Wow.
Go Justin.
How about that? Let's see if there's a move made into 13. Nope. So Justin Wilson runs second to Elio, and here comes Wilson in for his pit stop.
Oh, look at the brake smoke. That's where the speed limit starts, obviously, and he left it to the last moment.
Square that thing up. Square it up.
Danica Patrick's also in. Robbie.
Well, Justin Wilson pulls in, taking off those red Firestones. When I was talking to everybody earlier, they said he actually likes the blacks better than the reds. The reds are softer, but when the car works better on blacks, you go back with them. Looks like Danica Patrick in for a change just behind. I think I saw red as well, but Justin Wilson able to beat her out of the pits. Wilson has the tires, but he prefers the primary black Firestone Firehawk.
Simona De Silvestro also.
And here comes Briscoe. This will be. Oh, Justin! He couldn't get it stopped.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it stopped, and Briscoe gets by.
Which is easy to do on cold tires.
Yeah.
After you make a pit stop, you get on those brakes. Everything's hot, your pads and your rotors, but the tires are cold and slick, and boy, you can lock them up very easy, as you just saw him do.
Danica Patrick, as you saw, also made a pit stop. Nice, clean, fast stop for Danica. She comes out just ahead of Alex Tagliani. And here is Elio on pit lane, the leader. Given credit for leading one lap, and now here he is for his stop.
4, 3, 2, 1. Hit your mark. Hit your mark.
They're going to need a 1-second pit stop if they're going to get out anywhere close to power.
Franchitti stayed out on the racetrack. The fuel-save master didn't need to stop.
Nice job. Nice job.
Comes Power on the front straightaway.
And the guy's going to drop in right behind him, but quite a bit of racetrack will separate them. And then here comes the third place car of Briscoe, and there is Ryan Hunter-Ray completing his stop.
I think he said Briscoe, Bob. That's the other Ryan. Because remember, Briscoe is pitted. That was just, we saw the front end of Ryan Hunter-Ray's stop.
Yeah, we saw Briscoe, though, behind Castroneves. And Simona De Silvestro is stopped. This could bring out a full course caution.
Still running, judging by the, well, it looked like it from the heat.
Maybe trying to get it in reverse. Meanwhile, Franchitti pits. And this will give Will Power the lead back once again as Dario comes down pit lane. Long way down here. Finally, he arrives.
Sure enough, there goes Power. Now let's see if I think that Castroneves, yes, gets by him easily.
Dario comes out third. So there you have it. A round of pit stops completed, and we're still showing Will Power as the leader by 3.3 seconds now over Castroneves. Franchitti, Briscoe, and Kanaan are your top 5 with 57 laps completed. Well, Sunday, August 7th, the IZOD IndyCar Series continues here on Versus with the Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio as the points battle between Dario and Will Power will resume. The Honda Indy 200 at Mid-Ohio Sunday, August 7th at 2 o'clock Eastern here on Versus. Love going to the rolling hills of Mid-Ohio.
You know, guys, Castro Neves, yeah, before these guys made pit stop, don't forget, Power went in with about an 8 or 9 second lead. And all of a sudden, Castro Neves he's less than a second behind the leader. He is catching him.
Yep.
In and out laps, both faster than Power.
Now, he's used a couple of overtakes more than Power.
Now, Dario Franchitti is currently running third, and he has done quite a job of making up position since we had this little incident earlier in the race.
And that was going into turn number 5. We're going to wait to watch to see if Castro Neves might make a move before we go to that replay, but so far it looks like he's behind his teammate.
Power got off the corner a little bit better, so he's not really in position there.
So as we were saying, when Dario was going into turn number 5, he did an amazing job of driving first. This is where Franchitti is located right there. Now, if you let the tape roll, he initially thought he might go to the inside, and then he sees what Viso's doing. He gets hard on the binders, and he avoids any contact. But look how many cars stream by him. A fantastic way of avoiding contact, but he lost tons of track position. I think, Bob, you mentioned he's been as far back as 13th. Right there, he thought about Wally making a move, and then when he saw what Viso was doing, he said, I'm getting out of it totally.
Yeah, he got through that absolutely clean. He almost had to stop in order to do that, but like you said, he lost a lot of positions, but got a very good race car, and he's only 2.5 seconds behind the leader right now. So the way things have cycled through, he's in good shape. But this is the most pressure that Power's had on him pretty much all day. And you know Castro Neves wants it. I mean, he needs it. I mean, this year's not been a great year for these guys, and boy, Elio would love to put last year behind him and make this one stick.
Yep.
But he would have to have an opening big enough to drive a moving truck, one of the Penske moving trucks through, for him to take. I think he'd be crazy to take risk on Power after the contact he's had with him this year.
60 laps completed with smoke to
off
go.
the Power's car.
Yeah.
That's brake smoke. He's probably locking the tires up. That's what Elio would love to see, him doing a lot more than that.
Let's take you through the field once again. Kevin, we'll start with you.
Well, before the last round of green flag pit stops, Will Power's advantage was over 5 seconds. Now it's 0.6 of a second on his teammate Elio Castro Neves. He actually has a Canadian connection. His grandmother was born in Canada and worked in Alberta most of her career in her life. Let's go to Robbie.
Mr. Neves in second place. He didn't know what he'd have when it come race time because of the braking issue. The car doesn't handle because it doesn't stop. He said if he can't get this thing to stop like he wants it to, he has the top 3 car. He's in second right now, pushing hard for the lead. Kevin?
Franchitti fell all the way back to 13th position. He had to essentially stop to avoid the contact with E.J. Viso and Scott Dixon, so he's back in a good position. He may not get a second straight win, but he has an opportunity for the podium. Robbie?
Many words out of the number 6 of Ryan Briscoe. Hardly any changes throughout the day. When I talked to Roger Penske, he says we're going to try and beat him out of the pits. That's exactly what he didn't do that last stop. Dario Franchitti got by him. Now it drops Briscoe back into fourth. Lindy?
Tony Kanaan, good on fuel to the end. He obviously recovered from a bad pit stop earlier. His inside front had a problem with the tire. He lost several spots, but we know TK, and he's known to make those back up. Robbie?
Now, Justin Wilson in 6th spot. We saw that little bobble when he comes out. You have cold tires, you expect that, but he has the tires, the grip that he's expecting. They weren't new primaries, they are scuffed primaries on the 22. Justin Wilson, 6th and 6th.
Danica Patrick coming here to Edmonton after taking a mini vacation with her husband, some precious time off for her. She seems to have found that consistency she was looking for. Her first pit stop, they did a half turn of front wing. The last time, they did no changes, only took the red tires, Robbie.
Sebastian Bourdais coming off his best finish of the year, a 6th at Toronto. The 05-07 winner at Newman Haas has been struggling this week, but you'd have to think he's pretty pleased. About 8th place right now if he can just keep things together. This is a car that did not handle in practice. It's handling pretty good in the top 10 right now. Alex Tagliani in 9th, the number 77 Bauer and Wilkins car. He's been running strong. The car is a little bit loose right now. He does not like the reds. The guy's been lucky. He tore off that front wing. He served penalties. He stalled it, and he's still holding in the top 10, Kevin.
Ryan Hunter-Reay was running up at the front before his chrome horn led to a penalty. Went to the back. He's worked his way back up somewhat in contention, up in the top 10. Right after the penalty, he was told, you have the best car out there. Hang in there. Mike Conway right behind him in 11th. He's in much the same situation. He also served the penalty. He did not feel like he had a great car all weekend. He has had difficulty turning. This is the best the car has been all weekend.
And there you have the top 11 with Ryan Hunter-Reay trying to gain a position here. And will be able to do it. That's Alex Tagliani that he passed going into turn number 1. So Ryan Hunter-Reay moves to 9th. Tagliani back to 10th, and then Mike Conway right behind Alex.
Well, you've heard on the radio before, you've got the best car out there, right?
You know what?
That's very common.
I would tend to agree. I mean, I think Hunter-Reay does have a good car. I think he's got the best car out there so far I've seen under braking. I think he made a mistake there on that incident, but I think he does have a very good race car.
It's a good battle up front between Team Penske drivers. Will Power currently the leader, but right behind by a matter of car lengths is Helio Castroneves. So far in this race here at Edmonton, Alberta. We've got less than 20 laps to go, and Will Power has a lead over Helio Castroneves of only a couple of car lengths, and in third position Dario Franchitti is also a player. Here's Kevin.
Tim Cindric is on the stand for Will Power. All right, you've got a teammate, Helio Castroneves, right behind. How does that change things for Will? Is there any chance his teammate, who's battling for a championship, would pass him?
Well, right now, I mean, there's no team orders, and Helio's here to win the race, so I'm sure Helio will race him fair, but he'll race him for sure.
How's everything with the car? Any issues for Power?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's going to come down to the last 10 laps or so, and you know, it's going to be a matter of this lap traffic, see what happens.
May have no issues with fuel. A change of events for Tim Cindric. Remember, he was on the stand last year for Castroneves. When Power tried to pass him, Castroneves was called for the blocking/defending penalty.
And we've also had some good racing between Sebastian Bourdais and Danica Patrick. Here comes Danica. She's currently running in 7th position, but she and Sebastian have had a back and forth here.
He shoots up the inside, but overshoots. That's the classic pass and repass. Danica takes advantage of that. Certainly can't fault Sebastian Bourdais for trying, but didn't work out so well.
Down to Robbie.
The Nuclear Clean Air Energy driver, Simona Di Silvestro. Simona, what happened? We saw you dead in the water.
Yeah, we had a clutch failure pretty much. You know, we accomplished our last stop and the clutch just gave up. So, you know, it's a little bit disappointing. It was pretty tough for us the whole weekend, but, you know, we definitely made progress. And the Nuclear Clean Air Energy car, I think, could have had an okay finish, but pretty disappointing to finish the weekend like this.
You were in the top 10. You don't use a clutch when you're out there driving. Could you feel anything? Could you hear anything?
Well, you know, you don't really use the clutch, and, you know, it's just when I went out and accelerated, it wouldn't really go into gear. You know, it was really slipping, and then it just gave up. So you can't do anything about it. You know, sometimes it happens, and it's just a shame that it happened to us.
And unfortunately, Bob, she was in a top 10 position.
And she is only the 3rd car out of the race. The other two, Paul Tracy and Graham Rahal, both eliminated in a first lap crash. But those are the 3 cars out of the race. Scott Dixon is shown as 23rd, the last of the runners. He is 6 laps down because of the incident that we had earlier in the race.
Well, Castroneves is using more brakes, I believe, than Power. If you watch coming off this next corner, I think Power gets off the slower corners a little bit better. He's got better mechanical grip. To see how Castroneves makes up so much ground under braking. But then this is where Power will just drive off a little bit, and then Castroneves gets him back under braking.
Let's not count Dario out either.
No, he's just sitting there licking his chops right now. Well, let's watch the brake pressure. I'm curious to see what the pressures are between, say, Castroneves and Power. I'm not sure that.
We'll revisit that at a later date.
Take a look at that again.
Looks like the same as you. Looks like the same as you.
Yeah, but Castroneves is definitely getting into the corners harder. Now, he's probably using up more brake pad. He's probably, you know, got more heat in it. But I think if he can get close enough to Power going into 1, 5, or 13, he'll make a move on him.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
He is definitely within striking distance. There's no question. It's just going to take one slip, and he's close enough to pounce.
And, of course, Franchini's hoping the same thing happens at Long Beach, where he just drive both fast, both of them.
Down to Robbie.
With John Erickson, who's calling the shots for Helio Castroneves. You called the shots for Will Power when he won here in 09. What are you telling Helio?
Well, we want to win this thing. Obviously, Will's trying to win the championship, but I think we're a little bit quicker, and we got Dario right up our tail there, so we're just going to have to go for the win.
Helio was really concerned about the brakes. He didn't know what they would do. Are you a little bit surprised he's as fast or can stop as fast as he can? You told me you did a total redo.
We replaced pretty much everything. He was happy with them in the morning warm-up, and it's been fine all day, so he's good. Guys have done good down here in the pits. See what happens.
You know he wants to win this race probably more than anyone other than Indy. Is there any word to him? Are there any team orders?
Not right now.
Little race.
We're going to try to win it.
All right, you heard it, guy.
And that's not, you know, John Erickson, this is not a full-time gig for him.
Right.
This is a pretty good part-time gig for him, but, you know, he's doing a great job down there. Obviously having a blast.
Been around racing for many years.
Well, you never want to break, though, the #1 rule in racing, and that is don't take out your teammate. So he has to balance that even if he sees an opportunity.
And he's thinking about it, obviously, because he's done it.
He's done it already this year.
This is the 7th race that Will has led this year. He led in all 6 street and road course races, and of course he won on the oval in Texas. Laps winding down, and Will continues to hang on to the lead.
Looks like his car, Captain Evans, got a little bit of a push. You know, you can see when the car's turning, the front end slides out, and I think that's what he's struggling a little. Let's watch the pressures here. Let's watch Captain Nevis, what he's using. Boy, it didn't look like much. Wow. I mean, it was a 600, 640 in there.
Now, on the button behind you.
Take a look at it one more time here, going into this corner.
Look at Elio.
That was about 750 we saw there.
Now we switch to Will Power.
Lighter braking areas in here, but the big test, of course, will be coming up to 13, Wally.
.749, although you saw Captain Nevis gain on him there, but that's where he's losing all his time right here off this last corner.
You have one more than him right now. You got one more than he does. 10 to go at the line. 10 to go.
Power has 8 overtakes left. Castor Nevis 7th. Danica Patrick is being challenged by Ryan Hunter-Ray for 8th position. All kinds of good racing going on. 10 laps to go here at Edmonton, Alberta, with Will Power having a great battle with his teammate Elio Castro Nevis. Three all stacked up for you. Will Power followed closely by Elio, followed closely by Dario. First, second, and third with 9 laps to go, and soon to be 8 laps to go.
I think Captain Nevis is hoping that Charlie Kimball will get in the way a little bit of Will Power. Of course, Will Power's hoping he'll get out of the way.
Charlie Kimball is the last car on the lead lap in 19th position. So at the moment, 19 cars on the lead lap.
He will therefore fight hard to stay there. Tim Cindric, of course, said that lap traffic was his concern at that point.
Kevin is with Chip Ganassi.
Chip, your driver, Dario, runs third. How much will he press the issue with a comfortable lead in the championship?
Yeah, well, I mean, if he gets an opportunity, I think he certainly will. It's not, you know, nothing's a foregone conclusion here yet.
Car pretty good for him today?
Yeah, the car's pretty good. You know, we're on blacks. Those guys are on reds. You know, if he can have a go at him, he will. If not, he's not going to take any chances on it.
Okay, Franchitti running third, hoping for an opportunity to pounce on Castroneves.
It's getting close. See if Kimball gets out of the way.
Ryan Hunter-Reay going to the inside of his teammate, Danica Patrick.
Ryan Hunter-Reay moves to 8th.
He's on the button behind you.
They're both on the button.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Castroneves right now.
Yep.
Oh.
Campbell locks it up, so no issue.
Well,
there you go.
Yep, that's one way to do it.
So Power has 5 pushes left. Rather, Power has 6. Castroneves and Franchitti 5 overtake assists.
Well, so much for lap traffic. Now it just comes down to mano a mano. Now, we've talked about the #1 rule in racing, and that is don't take out your teammate. Well, Castroneves, remember, he had different colors there. He was red, white, and blue. Got into his teammate right there. Pow! Sorry about that, Will. And I think one of the best moves I've seen in a long time is this pirouette by Oriol Servia, and somehow found a gap. Now, they didn't play that on the big screen, so Castroneves wouldn't have seen that. That was just for our enjoyment. But there's no question, Wally, that that's still in the back of his mind.
Yeah, like I said, he's going to have to make sure that he can pull this pass off. It's just that the problem is Power's just getting off the corners way, you know, better than Elio right now. So unless Power slips up or makes some kind of a mistake, it's going to be really difficult for Castroneves to get that close to try to outbreak him. And Power doesn't make too many mistakes.
No, definitely not. And all he's been talking about since Toronto, other than Dario Franchitti, is that when I get to Edmonton, I want a clean race. I want a clean race. And so far, he has been clean as a whistle. And his main concern is when he sees that yellow car in the mirrors.
Let's not forget about Takuma Sato, who started this race from pole position and led the first 18 laps. But then there was this contact between Ryan Hunter-Reay and Sato that has dropped Sato 1 lap down. He is currently in 21st, and it did result in a penalty for Ryan Hunter-Reay, but he has battled his way back to the 8th position. Back of the first 3, you see 4th position Ryan Briscoe and 5th Tony Kanaan.
Now, it's probably worth also saying that next year's car that they're working on should have.
You have to save one to have one on the last lap.
Listening to the chatter about the overtakes, I'm going to say that the new car is going to have anti-stall technology. So what you saw happen to Sato next year should not happen, because he could simply put it in gear and take off. It's a technology that as soon as the RPM of the engine gets too low and it's going to stall, it dips the clutch, something similar they use in Formula 1.
And that's good.
Yeah,
because that'll help these guys a lot. Obviously, Sato wouldn't have lost a lap if they would have had that.
And onboard starters, people have talked about a lot, but they're just way too heavy for these cars. But the anti-stall thing should work fine.
I'm taking a look.
Yeah, he is.
Briscoe's got 9 overtakes left. Kanaan only has 3. So Tony's been using them up.
Alex Tagliani makes a pit stop late here. He needs some fuel to finish the distance.
And as you said earlier, Jan, he did not have enough, unless they had a bunch of cautions, which we haven't had today.
There you see there'll be 38 points separating first and second, as Power is going to gain quite a few here this afternoon if he can go on and win this race. We hear that Ryan Briscoe, running back and forth, is very short on fuel.
You'll remember the pit stop when Roger Penske was saying, we need to fill it up, we need to fill it up, you know, needs to be full, and that was why. He knew if they pitted on that lap that it would be tight.
It's been 25 laps since Ryan was on pit lane. Ryan Briscoe.
Justin Wilson back there in the 6th spot right behind Kanaan, having a pretty good day.
Yeah, he is. And so Sebastian Bourdais, he's going to get a good finish out of this. Justin started 15th and is currently 6th. There is Sebastian Bourdais, who started 12th, and he currently is 7th.
Wow, you can sure see the bumps. That was a great look. It's just a car that leaps off the ground.
Flexing too, left to right there. Very cool shot.
Oh, Powers. You know, Dario might.
Rankini's been using up the pushes to passes too. The last lap, he's used like 2 or 3 of them.
Now 3 laps to go.
There's a car ahead.
Serbia, yeah.
Well, all right then.
Serbia's 3 laps down in 21st.
I think Serbia will pretty much get out of their way quite a bit. I mean, he's been around a long time, great driver. I'm sure the team is letting him know where the leaders are.
Certainly haven't seen the banging and hitting and knocking people out of the way that we saw in Toronto, but we've had good on-track racing.
I love this layout.
I do too.
It's a really, it gives these guys a lot of opportunities to pass. Nice and wide.
2 to go, 2 pushes.
And just as you said, Royal Serbia goes to the left, backs off completely, lets the 3 leaders go by.
Class move.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah.
Hildebrand and Mira for 11th.
Here it comes.
Oh, nice slingshot there.
Now, can he stop? That's the thing. Can he stop in time?
Crossover?
Nice.
Oh, no.
Good move. Very good move.
J.R. Hildebrand to 11th. Saw that the Panther team rewarded his 500 effort with a 66 Chevy Chevelle that was JR's dream car. Got that the last couple of weeks.
JR's got 10 overtakes left. Mira had none.
Castro Neves now has closed the gap for a while there. It looked like he was potentially in trouble with Franchitti behind, but now it's closed in a bit.
He's going to use more brakes than he's ever used probably in these next 2 laps. He's just got to be careful he doesn't blow it and let Franchitti get by him.
Coming down for the white flag. 1 more lap to go.
White flag here, white flag. He's on the
both on the overtake. Basically keeps him even.
And the interval specifically is 0.7 seconds, and Briscoe is having to make a pit stop, relinquishing 4th place.
Yeah, guys, it was like a ticking clock. They knew it might have to happen, and Roger was waiting to the last moment. In the last lap, this is the last moment, unfortunately. Slash and go.
Wow, 1 lap from finish and a 4th place. But that will put Tony Kanaan up into 4th place now as Briscoe will make his way slowly out of pit lane. Here comes the man of the day once again. Power is just so good at street and road courses, and that's where we will be in 2 weeks at Mid-Ohio. Interval remains about the same unless there's a major problem in turn 13. We're going to see Mr. Power back in the winner's circle.
Franchitti right there.
Nope, can't do it. Well, the IZOD IndyCar Series 2011 visit to Canada about to end, from Toronto's Power and Franchitti Fracas to today's battle between Power and Elio. And Will Power wins at Edmonton. Franchitti runs third behind Castro Neves.
Franchitti will come up and congratulate him.
Make eye contact.
Yeah.
There's Kanaan, Wilson, and Bourdais finishing 4th, 5th, and 6th, and the burnouts are underway already. Very impressive. Will Power records another win. It's his 13th career victory and his 4th win this year, having also won at Barber, Brazil, and the 2nd race at Texas. Also his 2nd win here at Edmonton. He also took the checkered flag first in 2009. Power, your winner.
In the rundown. So there is Will Power up on the big screen, our 2011 Edmonton Indy winner for Team Penske in that Verizon machine. Will Power gets the gloves off, getting congratulations from the Team Penske crew. There's the Firestone Firehawk standing by. Of course, we'll be checking in with Michael Young here in a few minutes as we get our victory podium presentations organized down there. But that was as close as we've seen here over the years in Edmonton. Those 3 drivers within a second of each other right down to the end of the event. But it was Will Power able to hold off and prevent the challenges from both Helio Castroneves and Dario Franchitti. So, David, a tight points race, just 38 points now as the battle goes to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in a couple of weeks on Sunday, August the 7th. That is a great racetrack. And they'll be battling out there again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was an awesome race here in Edmonton. Will Power definitely pulled away a little bit.
Will Power wins his 4th race of the year. Disappointed 2 weeks ago in Toronto, but is in victory lane here this afternoon at Edmonton, Alberta. Here is Will Power, and Kevin Lee will be there to talk with him.
Power standing atop the side pod. Let's see if he does the leap that we've seen with his wins so far this year. Will can entertain us. He wins for the 4th time this season, his 13th IndyCar win. And there's a modified willpower leap. His pole streak was snapped yesterday, 8 straight on non-ovals, but he gets back to victory lane. Considering what has happened in the last 2 races, what does this win mean for you?
That meant a lot. You know, we really need to come back here and win, and just to get the confidence back in the team and get that Verizon car back in victory lane is awesome. I mean, that was so hard at the end. Tires had gone off. I was struggling under brakes. I was trying to keep Elio behind. So, man, that was really, really happy.
You've been pretty fired up the last couple of weeks. Has your mindset changed? Did your focus or approach change at all coming into this race?
Yeah, I thought I'm going to be more aggressive in the race. I thought I just have to be, you know. We can't lose any more points to Dario. And, man, I just got to thank Verizon, Maya, Coke, Mazak, and just Team Penske for, you know, all the support. And back in victory lane with the Verizon car. Really happy.
We just saw the pass for the lead. Dixon got by you earlier. You got back by him, and then you got by Sato. I think that was coming into 13.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he made a bit of a mistake, got a run on him, and, yeah, and then we had the restart with Mike Conway. He started really late. But, yeah, good day. Good day. I just drove every lap like qualifying. It was really good.
38 now behind Franchitti. Do you feel like you're back in the championship mix now?
Yeah, it's definitely closer, and we just got to keep doing this, you know, just keep chipping away, sort of like he did with us last year. So it's really happy, you know. It was a really good race for me.
This has got to be the easiest way to deal with a frustrating month.
Yes, it is, absolutely, absolutely. Just for the guys, man, all the work they put in, and you know, and the team, just to get some team morale, 1-2. It's really good.
Will Power wins for the 2nd time here at Edmonton, 1st time on the new course, and it is his 4th win in Canada.
And officially an 0.8 of a second victory over his teammate Elio Castroneves. Dario was 3rd, then Kanaan, Wilson, Bourdais finishes 6th. Ryan Hunter-Reay, Conway, Patrick, and Briscoe complete the top 10. A lot more drivers to talk to, and we will continue to do that when we return to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
But really all the way through the field, we had packs of 3 and 4 cars trying to settle positions, and at times it got a little bit heated. There was some contact out there, particularly down in that turn 5 area that seemed to be the action spot all weekend long, David. Definitely a great race, thanks to watch, especially this track is every time out there, so it was definitely a good race for the fans to watch, and great battle for the Okay, great job once again, and we're just standing by here waiting for the podium presentations to be organized, and we'll be sending it down to Michael Young, the voice of the IZOD IndyCar Series and Firestone Indy Lights. Michael will get a weekend off, and then of course we'll be joining the teams and the series in a couple of weeks at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio, just about an hour north of Columbus, Ohio. Some of the fans who are here today from perhaps the Southern Ontario market, and that is about a 5.5 hour drive down to Mid-Ohio, so we're going to catch the stars of the IZOD IndyCar Series. Short drive down to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. That'll be round number 11 of the IZOD IndyCar Series. Right now, we've got things just about set to go. We're going to send it down to Michael Young with our podium presentations from the Edmonton Indy.
Yes, getting ready for our post-race celebration here at Victory Circle. The pictures being taken. We're waiting for our top 3 drivers. We're now joined by Tim Cindric, who is followed the race for Will Power, right? With Elio for so many years and a really fun Victory Circle celebration. The drivers to get to victory lane. We invite you race fans to come on down and join us. Our post-race stage located at Pit Out. Come on down and enjoy the festivities as we honor the top 3 finishers at today's Edmonton Indy.
Will Power wins the Edmonton Indy from City Center Airport in Edmonton, Alberta. The second and final race of the year in Canada. The Firestone pit performers of the race. Not Will Power, but his teammate Elio Castroneves, as his team spent a total of 57.9 seconds getting Elio in and out of pit lane. Here is Kevin Lee.
Nixon was maybe an innocent bystander of what happened. You finished 23rd, 6 laps back after the contact with Viso. I was listening to your radio. It sounded like you said, get me back out there. I'm going to take him out. Did I misunderstand that?
No, I think it was right. You know, at that point, I was definitely going to take him out. But obviously, once we got through the race, it cooled off a little bit. You know, you get sick and tired of people doing bonehead moves. And the car that, you know, I saw it coming in the mirror, but I had nowhere to go. But coming from 6 cars back and taking out somebody, I don't know if he was looking at somebody in the stands or something. Not really paying attention, but you know, it ruined a good day for our car. We had a great car. I think we had a car that you know, had the possibility to win as long as everything went right. But you know, unfortunately, it's just kind of been the way our season goes this year. You know, we've been qualifying well, we've been up the front and had good cars, but it just hasn't been going our way.
And more than 100 points back in the championship as he loses another 20-plus points. Robbie?
Looks like Dario Franchitti and Will Power are finally talking as I'm getting to stand next to Elio Castroneves. And I heard a lot of talking out of you last year, but a lot of smiles this year.
Oh, big time. I have to thank Penske Truck Rental. Everybody from Team Penske, obviously, AAA, Guide Point System, Verizon, all my associates, because Comfort Revolution, I mean, everyone, AAA, I mean, there's so many, but I got to thank all of it because they believe me. The Shell Special believe me, Pennzoil, and I'm very glad to be able to put this car right up there.
Your guys were quickest in the pits, but also did a good job out there getting those brakes going. And I thought it was just something this weekend. But you said it's been 10 races that you've had problems with these brakes.
So unfortunately, it's one of those things, you know, you ask your guy, hey man, what's going on? He's like, I think it's this, I think it's that. And we kind of pick every single thing, and finally we're able to fix for the race. I told you, once we fix it, it will be no problem. I had a chance to do something with Will, but again, it was a little bit tough. I need a solid result, and this is a very solid result.
Elio finishes second. Still looking for that first win to keep that 12-year winning streak, Lindy Thaxton. But boy, he had a lot of black on that nose as well. It was a rough day for Elio.
Okay, Dario, because we just saw it, what'd you guys talk about?
Well, I can't tell you the first thing we said because we have a kind of a name that we call each other. Actually, before Toronto, we called each other. It's not particularly polite, but no, I just went up and said good job to Will, and then we were talking about the race and stuff. And you know, as I said, for me, Toronto was in the past, and so that's all good.
And let's talk about today. The final restart looked like it really affected your race. What happened?
Yeah, it did, and it was totally my fault there. I had it in my head. I had to stay behind the car in front in line. So Conway was going very, very slowly up there. And when it did go, I got a really good start, but then I thought, oh man, I've got to stay behind whoever was in front. And then an Elio and a bunch of the guys just freight trained us. So I totally screwed that bit up. I had it in my head to stay behind, and I was wrong. So that lost me a couple of places, and then down there I was about to get Viso back, and he speared into the side of Scott and took Scott out. So I feel really bad for Scott. He's just having no luck right now. But that put us back to 10th, and then we were able to make a couple of spots. And then when I got clean air, I mean, I went a second lap quicker as soon as I got clean air. Came in, did that pit stop, had a good out lap, and caught like 5 seconds up on Will and Elio, but once I got there, I couldn't do anything with them.
And what about the fact you were on black tires, everyone around you on reds? Were you worried about that?
No, I wasn't, because my last lap on blacks before I pitted was my quickest lap of the race, I think, in the second segment. So I did the old, when Chris asked me what I wanted, I said, oh no, I'll leave it to you, man. I didn't take any responsibility, but then when I saw that lap time, I said, I think we've got to have blacks here. And it was obviously the right choice, and we were able to catch those guys, as I say, but I lost track position on that restart, and couldn't recover from it. But you know, third from where we were running in 10th, I was. It's not a bad day. So a great job by Team Target, both cars, and again, Scott's just got no luck right now, and I feel bad for him.
Dario, meanwhile, points leader by 38.
I wonder if it's the same word I use for you.
Well, let's compare their seasons. 4 wins for each driver. Dario leads the points by 38, and Dario still is the only driver to have completed every single lap of the 2011 season. More when we return to Edmonton.
First-place finisher, Dario Franchitti. Got a little inside on it. A little bit about the run today, obviously coming in from the Toronto event with a big victory. You were on a set of blacks, everybody else on reds. You were able to run them down, but not able to get around either Elio or Will.
No, absolutely. The key to me was the last restart. I made a mistake. I had it in my head that I had to stay behind the car in front and line until we crossed the start-finish line, which is the rule for the restart. For the start, and the restart, so I lost us a bunch of track position doing that. And I'm pretty upset with myself right now. And then I was passing Vito on the 5, and he